Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is Bachelor Clues. We are about to dig deep into 12 luscious clips from these past couple of weeks in and around Bachelor Nation, from various podcasts, various appearances of various players of various levels of success and import in our multiple beloved games at this point. This week, we got for you clips from a show called So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. The guests were Bergie and his girlfriend, Taylor Nicole Smith. They're going to be breaking down multiple things about gameplay in Love Island, what they're seeing in the current season, etc., etc. We've also got clips from those Viall Files with Belle-A. She's on the Viall Files. Did you see also this motherfucker got Papini?
What? Papini?
Sherry
I don't
Papini?
know that. I don't follow the true crime.
Oh, well, Sherry Papini right now has
Belle-A is a bigger get to me.
I see. Papini was, I don't know when this was, in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s maybe. She said that she was abducted from her husband and children and was gone for 4 months. And then she came back and was like, yep, I got abducted. It was 2 Hispanic women. They abducted me and they branded me and I don't know. And then it turns out she was lying about all of that. And she was just spending 4 months having an affair with her 7th grade boyfriend. And they
7th grade? A child?
No, when she was in 7th grade with him, they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and now they've rekindled.
God.
Okay.
Did he brand her, or that was just part of
you got to watch the documentary.
Lie?
Watch the documentary.
No.
But he interviewed her. This guy just does it all.
I mean, when you're the best interviewer, you get the best interviews.
I rest my case. We also got clips from off of that old Vine, and we got clips from that old Bachelor Happy Hour. Hopefully you'll enjoy them all. Are you ready, PaceCase, to dive into this first juicy clip of Digging Deeper?
First.
Oh, sorry.
This is the first Digging Deeper where I feel like I am already dug so deep. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I guess it's digging deeper, but I'm like, I feel like I'm living more reality TV lifestyle than ever before in my life.
This is just a redig. It's not even a redig. This is just us sifting through the shit we've already dug up.
Yeah. Well, I have purposely not watched any of these clips, so.
Oh, okay. Here we go then. This first clip comes to us from, as I mentioned, So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. The date of this podcast was June 6th. And in this clip, Bergie gets into some of the gameplay mechanics of Love Island. Here we go.
Mm.
It's not a love show. It's a dating game show, and we're gonna get into like some of the mechanics and it's one of the hardest things to do because one, you have to find a partner, and then you and your partner have to make sure production like you enough to keep you in the villa. You have to make sure your castmates like you enough to be in the villa, and then you have to make sure the audience members like you enough to be in the villa. So you're playing to 3 different audiences to make sure you're staying in the villa, and then on top of that, you have everybody else around you that you have to work with.
Mm-hmm. Taylor, do you agree?
Yeah, I would say like playing musical chairs is probably the best way to put it, because in my like experience, I mean, I feel like I was a puppet and I was just kind of like, like production got to move me wherever they wanted to move me.
And that's what you knew you were signing up for, in a sense.
No, exactly. Like, I mean, I signed my life away. I knew what I was like getting in for, but I definitely feel like you said, it was like, it's like a game of like almost musical chairs where you are, and you're also having to worry about like, oh, well, if I say this, how is that going to come off to the audience? Because
that's the 4th audience.
It's a completely new experience when you get put in this environment, and then you have cameras all around you and production all around you. And then, you know, they're videoing your in-depth conversations. And it's like, oh, you're constantly thinking if what I'm saying is going to be either twisted or did I like say something wrong? Like,
and they're trying to get you comfortable enough to have you forget about that.
Well. It sounds almost like Good Girl Bergie was listening to what we talked about when he came on our show.
I'm so proud of Bergie.
Me too.
I mean, what a great explanation.
He said you're playing to 3 different audiences, and in Love Island, that's true. And he nailed every one of them. It's the only audience they're missing from Bachelor is the first audience. But I would argue that you kind of do play to a first audience once you close off. Once you are no longer open options and you're in a couple, you're now also playing to a first audience. So I would argue that at some point in Love Island, in that game mechanic, it shifts to a full 4 audience panel. But in the beginning, he's right.
First and second are kind of blurred together a little bit in Love Island. Oh, God, I love to hear this. It's such a good explanation. And like, I mean, he and Taylor were in very different positions, right? She came in Casa Amor, right?
I don't know. I didn't see that season. It was before my time.
And he was an OG, and he had a very odd situation where he got kicked off, but then immediately spends the night in the hideaway with 2 bombshells.
I've read about this. I've read about this hallowed event.
Yeah. And that was kind of like, it was almost as if Bergie was a PVC player and they were trying to like pressure that situation. God, I'm so proud of him though.
The only thing I will disagree with Taylor Nicole Smith on here is it's a game of musical chairs. That ain't quite right. It's really a game of kind of constantly re-ranking the audiences as to which one is most important to your game at any given moment. And that, generally speaking, the producers are always at the top of that list.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, you don't have any control over the 4th audience, how they're going to react to you. You have control over what you can do in game. You can affect your own edit. You know, she was bringing up that point, like, you're kind of scared. What are they, if they're going to cut me this way or make me look this way? If you're a good player, that fear doesn't exist because you 100% know you are controlling your own edit. And that
like
is
Ace. Like Ace is not scared. Ace knows I'm a producer favorite. I can say what I want. Like, they're going to edit me well. Kind of.
Yeah, but he's wrong because he's saying very bad shit. At any rate, that was a great first clip. Let's move on.
I did like what Taylor points out, which is that once the cameras are on you, it's a very different, you know, we're Monday morning quarterbacking over here. And it's like, when you're actually in that scenario, it's like very high pressure. I was watching a TikTok that was like, all the beds are on, like all the furniture is on platforms and stuff. So no one can hide under the furniture. And all of these things about no watches, it's
like just Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. They can't know what time of day it is or what day it is. And all these things so that they can edit together things that are not chronologically at the same time.
On, I forget what it was. It was in a recent episode. A dude opened a conversation and set his drink down and it was empty. And then the very next shot, like they jump cut and his drink is full again. Like they don't have opaque cups. They got
a clue.
Learn from
they should do
Love
opaque
is Blind.
Cups. That's wild.
Yeah. I know. Stupid. All right, let's move on to our next clip. Comes to us from the same podcast. In this clip, Bergie and Taylor are talking about playing to the producers and an example from season 6 of how producers kept somebody in the game. Here we go.
The game is to eventually be the final couple standing. And last year it was Cordell and Serena, and they walked out. And like you said, the audience votes. The other thing that you said, Bergie, I found really interesting is that you're playing 3 ways: to the audience, to the people there, and to production, and trying to win production over. How much is it of charming production to stay? Like, how big of a part of the game is that?
It's the biggest part.
More so like America, though.
Well, I would say it's your storyline within the story of Love Island. Like, if you have a storyline that isn't finished yet and production know they can get a little bit more out of you, they're not going to get you out of there. Like, they'll do everything to keep you there. Like, last year, I think that's what happened with me. They knew like they could get something out of me and they didn't want me to leave yet because they knew I still had a storyline. Last year we had Janae, and if they did a typical Love Island dumping where the boys vote a girl home and the girls vote a boy home, Janae would have been dumped. Remember like the whole thing with Aaron like crying and
Yeah.
Rob crying. They sent
Yeah.
Andrea home. It was a big deal.
I remember that.
They're like, why
That
would
was
you do that? So I
crazy.
think production knew that the girls would send Andrea home over Janae, and they were like, all right, this is the way we have to do it. Let's make sure we can get these puzzle pieces to play the way we want them to.
Yeah.
This is very similar to Bachelor in Paradise, the producer rose given to Natasha Parker in, I forget which season that was.
6.
The bottom line is this. In any of these games.
It was the clickbait season.
What's that?
It was a clickbait season, right?
Yeah.
With Joe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because the clickbait was still going.
By the way, did you see Snake Wrangler Rob cast on Traitors?
Well, supposedly.
Is that not true?
That's those lists that are coming out right now that I'm seeing.
Well,
That's not an official. He might be. He might be on the cast. But I will say this. I have seen some of these rumored things, and they're not correct 100%.
I thought there was an official announcement.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it was just like a rumored cast thing. I don't think they've come out with the official list yet. Anyways, moving on to clip number 3. Do you have anything? Well, I was about to say something. I forget.
I know. Sorry, I interrupted you.
The producers. I was saying
Janae.
Always in all of these games, the third audience is the most important at all times, bar none. Unless you're in a Bachelor style, multiple people dating one person structure, then that first audience can be more important. But generally, even then is not, because that first audience is going to have his or her, top 3 picked out basically on night 1. And then you're just trying to stay in the game at that point. Very rarely will you be able to crack into that kind of pre-selected idea that they have. So you're always playing to the producers in all cases to get not just like stay on the show, but to get favorable treatment, for them to build a storyline for you. If they want to do that, they can. And to do that, it's like a weird mix depending on the show. I haven't really gotten into the hierarchy of Love Island yet, those producers, but I think that's coming. At any rate, The Bachelor one I had down cold, like who you had to talk to and who had to be your friend and watch out for this one and all that kind of shit. Once you know that layout, like who's the important person that can actually pull a string to keep you there longer or give you preferential treatment, you just become that person's friend. And it's a simple thing to do. At least it was in Bachelor, because many of those producers were, they wanted to be famous themselves. And so if you kind of emerged as somebody who might be famous off the show, their desire to befriend you so that they can go to your birthday parties and all this type of shit, you could leverage that to basically do anything.
I would say the third audience is always the most important. Like we saw Colton say that he would skew his list so that they didn't know how into Hannah Godwin he was, so that he could hang out with her. Like if your first picks are like not good TV or whatever, then you have to manipulate that. But yeah, especially in Love Island, because it's literally at the producer's whim how every dumping goes.
I've also heard that the producers speak to them.
Andrea too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that choice was an interesting one, but whatever. Yeah. That's history at this point. But I've heard on Love Island, the producers speak to them through like speakers in the walls and shit. So you don't even see them. You just hear a voice come on that's like, stop talking about that or whatever.
Oh my God, creepy.
Yeah, no shit. You see them in your ITMs, obviously. And that's where you can have like one-on-one time with them to try and get whatever you want to get. But really, like the high level players of these games, there's kind of 2 kinds. There's, in my opinion anyway, there's like a natural, which I think Belle-A Kateb is kind of that, who's just like, it doesn't matter. If the camera's on her, she is giving you 100% all the time and just a natural reality superstar. Then there are...
Whatever you've heard about me, times it by 1,000,000.
Yeah, exactly. Then I think there are workers, and that Colton Underwood is a worker, in my opinion. That guy like wanted the brass ring. He wanted to be a reality star so bad. He was willing to do anything to get it. And like you're saying, he's already playing games with them to reorder him once he becomes Bachelor. But to become Bachelor, that story is now famous. This man walked into Mike Fleitz's office and said, I know you're looking at a lot of guys from my rookie season. I'll give you the best fucking TV you've ever seen. I'll do anything you want. That's a straight
I'll jump your fence.
Manipulation.
I mean, look at what he's been able to do post-stalking. Like,
I know.
I can't believe he's had his own show. He's hosting with KB.
He's supposedly
maybe on Traitors.
Yeah. That one I think is real.
He is clearly one of the best third audience people in the world to be able to get over all of these hurdles.
Absolutely.
Shocking.
Right. Let's
I hate that that's our representation from Bachelor Nation on that show.
Colton Underwood?
Yeah.
I mean, I got mixed feelings about him for obvious reasons. Like the criminal actions that he has committed make me feel one type of way. What he has given to reality television make me feel another type of way.
I would say it's a completely like women and gays audience.
Traitors is?
Bachelor.
Oh, Bachelor, yeah.
The person who stalked his ring winner,
I know,
is a bad representation of Bachelor Nation.
Unless he wins, then he's a good one.
In my opinion.
No, in your
allegedly.
opinion. Yeah. Look, I agree with you. Putting the tracking device on Cassie Randolph's car and all that shit is like, Jesus, it's very bad. I am in no way disagreeing with that. However, the man gave us the fence jump. He gave us the moment with Billy Eichner where Billy Eichner says, maybe we have our first gay bachelor. And it's obviously also widely known that the producers are thought to have cast him because he was gay. And they hoped for some kind of coming out on
mental breakdown,
TV, whatever, because of it. But he's a good reality player. And I think for that reason, he might do well in Traitors. Although there's something about him. This is just my own kind of take on his play style. There's ego in it that I think you have to kind of check at the door in Traitors. You have to, in order to like go far in Traitors and kind of win that show, you have to kind of fully give over to Traitors and be like in that game. And then if you pop off like Carolyn did this past season, based on your personality or whatever, great. But I don't know if he's going to be able to like relinquish the control of his persona enough to get into that game. And I think that might hinder him. We'll see.
I don't know. We know he's a good liar.
Indeed. We do know that. All right, let's move on here to our next clip from the same podcast, in which Taylor Nicole Smith reveals that some bombshells watch the episodes in the hotel before they come in. They take notes and then they do something interesting with them. Here we go.
When I was in my hotel and they made me watch the episodes on an iPad because I had to take notes and turn them into the producers. And it was like he was at the gym and I was like, he's kind of cute.
All right.
And I
that guy not working out. That guy's cute.
It was you working out.
It was me working out. But like I would maybe go in there. I'm like, all right, let's do a set of bicep curls. All right, that's good. And then walk away from it. It wasn't like me actually doing a full on workout for an hour. It was like me doing a workout for 3 minutes.
3 minutes is all it takes.
Yeah. You just got to see him do one curl and that's enough. Look how he lifted that one weight.
Look at that form.
Fascinating here that she had to take notes and then give them to the producers. So that the producers use those notes then to start building, okay, we need her to come in and go after him. And how do we pivot that to this and that to this? God, how much can I say? I have come into
say it all.
I've come into receipts of certain documents. Is all I can really say, I guess, that have given me knowledge, access, what have you, to conversations that are had season long by producers about seasons, like as they're in them, making them. I get to go back and basically just read a fucking text thread of it all. And it's fascinating to see how the producers will like anything can happen. And then it gets thrown into that group chat. And it's like, okay, what's a good example? Leia Kateb wants to get back together with Rob. That drops into that group thread. Then it's all these producers, however many are on the team for that show, are like, oh my God, Rob has to go this way. Don't let him talk to her. Put him on this. We're going to do this challenge and make sure Leia and Rob do this. Get Rob in there and get him start talking about his family so he might start crying. It just like, it's an immediate, like as soon as there's a kernel of knowledge about how it can be used to manipulate the cast as a whole, specifically the person that it involves, It gets dropped into that thing and all of the producers swarm around it like ants. Just like, how do we use this to best manipulate this fucking person? So those notes, I'm sure, are no different.
It's that's why it's the best sport in the world.
I agree.
I mean, good God. Like what you're up against when you go into that situation is mind-boggling.
Yeah. I mean, especially because in most of these shows, these producers have been there for a minute. They know what the fuck they're doing, or at least they know what they're doing in the context of like this thing. And I think like, I don't know. I mean, this is kind of what we were talking about with regard to like, can season 7 of Love Island USA live up to season 6? I think it can because, and I've thought about this way too much in the past like 3 or 4 days. But I really do look back to that era of like when they got season 17 of Bachelor all the way to season 24, which is right the last Bachelor season before pandemic. There was something that clicked in season 16. They got their first final limo exit in the Lindsay Cox Grandy when she rode in on the horse. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But the game was fully formed in season 16. And then boom, season 17, Sean Lowe, Goldini, this kind of perfect born again Christian, blonde hair, blue eyed, from the source, ex-college football player, et cetera, et cetera. He comes in and he does what he does. And from that moment to season 24, it was basically perfect. The producers had that formula fucking down. And I think it's not a coincidence that it starts falling apart in the pandemic when you don't have Alon Gale, who essentially crystallized that formula in that season 17. He was there for that whole time. So I'm hopeful that Love Island USA has crystallized the formula in season 6, and we're going to get 10 years minimum of equally good seasons. I think that's what we're in right now.
I think it is. I mean,
me too.
I can't stop thinking about Hutta doing that back bend.
I know.
The challenge.
Who was it? I think it was Bird Horowitz, I think, sent me a DM with just a screenshot of that said, this is a painting.
I saved the image. I saved the image. I was like, this is so good.
God. Her fucking head, she's like,
yeah, her head going backwards, Nick being like, mom of what? Like, just all of there's already been so many iconic moments. And I honestly think I underestimated the cast a little bit at the beginning, but it's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. But it's like, and we've talked about this a little bit, but it's like they know they gotta fucking show up and show out. Every one of these players is like, these cameras are fucking on. I better feed them. Mm-hmm. Which
even
is like
the deleted clips. Like we saw, I saw Love Island posted a clip of Shelly rapping, like off the cuff.
I saw
and
that
I was
too.
like, why would you not put this in the show?
Because they got too much other good shit.
She's too good. You don't want to like too much of a superstar. You want to take her down a notch.
I don't know if it's going to go to 24-hour feeds or not. I don't actually think it will, because a lot of the show is made in the edit. And I think if you give us 24-hour feeds, it's like the hardcore fans will watch that shit just like they do in Big Brother. Yeah. And then the edit will come out and people be like, no, that's not, those two don't hate each other. Those two don't.
That happens in Big Brother. Like I have a friend who watches the feeds and he's like, it's 2 different shows. It's 2 completely different shows. I was like, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Big Brother is like whoever wins. There's an element of Big Brother that is like the outcome is objective. It's not like nothing to do with the edit. If you win all the challenges and if you get people to vote other people out, if you win the show, you win the show. You can't edit that any other way. But in Love Island, the edit can literally make things happen that have never happened.
Yeah. And it might be changing too, because I don't know how big influence, if Big Brother makes influencers or not, but it is making people who go on to Traders if they're fan favorites, you know, so it does impact things.
She's got numbers.
Well, she was a fan favorite and won.
I know.
God, that finale outfit. Never stop thinking about it.
All right, let's move on to our next clip. It comes to us once again from the same podcast. This is a clip where Bergie and Taylor are talking about sometimes events are removed from the canon and a Big Brother style voice from the speakers. This is where they're talking about how you get your information from the producers. Very sinister. Here we go. If you want to see this clip and you want to hear me and PaceCase talking about it, please join us at patreon.com/Game of Roses, where you go into the pit. You join our community of other pit dwellers. You can get on our Discord. You can submit your own screams there to be played on This Week in Bachelor Nation. You get access to all the rest of this Digging Deeper, all the Digging Deepers we've ever done. You get access to Casa Amor, where we're right now watching every episode of
That's
Love Island.
basically a live stream of Clues and I at this point.
Jesus, it so much is. But we're loving watching this season of Love Island and Casa Amor. Please join us for that. You also get PaceCase Pop-ups. You also get Clues Corners. You also get ad-free everything.
Episodes.
Is that it? There's probably some other shit in there I'm leaving out. Join
Early
us. Early merch drops. Please join us in the pit so that you can experience us. I was going to say slowly slipping into insanity, but it's like we're already there.
Yeah.
Slipping deeper into insanity, I'll say, as we watch this season of Love Island. Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.